listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Yes, this is, in fact, the Gettin Salty Experience podcast with Louis back from assignment. Great job, Louis. Great job. Where we at? On assignment
Very, very quiet. I'm hunting weapons.
I wasn't hunting.
You weren't.
I had my anniversary. 24 years. It's the same moment. How do you make that happen?
24. It seemed like yesterday I just caught the cork behind my back in a drunken stupor.
You did catch the cork behind your back.
Hey, true story. I was 3 sheets to the wind right outside the limo. Roofie pops the champagne cork. It goes up about 50 feet. I just turn around and go like this. Whoop, and it falls right in my hand, bro.
Camera.
Unbelievable.
On camera, no less.
On camera. The guy caught it. He actually put that into, when they do the wedding video, he put that on the wedding video.
Awesome, man.
Word.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice. How was it? You guys stayed in some special
funky place, huh? We stayed in the Roxbury at Stratton Falls. So the place has been there for 100 and 200 years or something. But the guys, they came in and they fixed it up nice. It's beautiful.
They did.
Oh, yeah,
man. I
would definitely recommend going there.
I thought you were on assignment in the Ukraine or something, bro. On a special assignment.
I did the next morning. I did. While the old lady was sleeping, I got my coffee and I watched about a half hour of the show. I was laughing.
I can't get that back from him for crying out loud.
Right there. Yeah, I saw that. He wouldn't give you that back. It's I'm a bitch.
I got to tell you, last night I picked up the family. They were away for a month.
Oh, they're back?
Oh, they're home?
I went ape shit on some Karen outside the airport, bro.
What happened?
I went roofie on her. I swear to God, I went roofie.
Wait a minute. Did you kick in her door and clear her house with a knife or something? What'd you do?
First of all,
that's because you're a little backed up, probably.
It could be. It reminded me of when we went away. You almost hit the kid making the U-turn, and how I just snapped from 1 second to the next. Like, wasn't even my fault. Roofie starts a fight. I get into it, right?
Yeah, he goes like this to me. The guy's like saying something through the windshield. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Get out of the way, And he's like, what, So he comes over to the door. I'm like, what's the matter with you? Like, what are you doing? He's like, what are you doing? You think you're a tough guy in this truck? I'm like, what are you talking about? So Coops says, hey, listen, man. He apologized. It's good, man. And the guy says something back to Coops. Coops like, what? I'm trying to help you. He's like, Ruff, hold my glasses. He takes his glasses off. The guy's like this. Dude, no, I don't want any problems. I'll get you out of here.
Fucking, I gotta tell you what happens with this Karen, bro. First of all, I have to drive around the airport about 80 times because
I hate that shit.
They don't let you pull over anywhere. So finally, she says, I'm at the carousel now. She's got 6 bags, 2 kids with her. She just spent 18 hours on a flight. So there's a cop there. I go, hey, bro, I'm a fireman. He goes, dude, just park over here. As soon as she comes out, just load it and get out, right? So I text her. I'm on my way. 2 seconds later, this old Haggerty Karen comes by my window with a flashlight now. Move! She yells at my window, move.
Is she working there or is she just a Karen?
Well, she's working there.
Okay.
I'm like, what do you mean move? She goes, you got to move. I said, the cop told me, she goes, I don't care. Move.
Ooh.
I'm like, so I get out of the car. I go, I'm not moving. My wife's coming with the kids and bags. I'm not moving.
Yeah.
She goes, bloop, bloop. Yeah. She says about license plate. This guy's giving me a problem over here. Come tow his car away. I'm
what?
like, you know what? Yeah. Right. She goes, I hope you get your car towed now. I'm like, you know what I hope? I hope your fucking mother dies. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God. Dude. Dude, I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here while you get towed. I can't wait for them to come and tow you. I can't.
You can't let them go away for a month. You can't be backed up this far.
I got steam coming out of my ears, bro. I got steam coming out of my ears. My son sees me from 100 yards away. He comes running and jumps in my arm, daddy. And I see her. Now she feels like a total dickbag. So all of a sudden, the 4 cop cars come over, and it's like 4 broads to get out of the car. She goes, is there a problem here? I go, this lady, I'm just here. I told the guy I was a fireman. She goes, oh, you're a fireman? She goes, yeah, no problem. Take your time. Don't worry about it. The fucking Karen, I thought she was going to lose it, bro.
Bitch. You know what that is?
What?
You know what it is? It's that guinea coming out of him again. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah. It's always, oh, look, He's like Sly Stallone all of a sudden. He's snorting.
Dude,
He's snorting. He's snorting.
I don't mind. Even if she came over and says, "Hey, listen, you really can't stay here. Knock on the window and move." She goes, "Move."
She's been there for 24 hours, maybe. She's been dealing with people like you all day.
All day.
Give her a
People
little,
like you.
She was typical Karen, like an old
saggy I got him on the hook. Yeah.
She had like these big, thick glasses. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I know how you feel, dude. Your kids mean the world to you. Your wife, you haven't seen anybody in a while. Let me ask you this: Did you jump your old lady's bones last night or not? Did you leave her alone?
About that stuff.
Oh my God.
That stuff. Nope.
Oh my
can't.
God. All right.
Nope.
He's in a better mood, obviously. I mean, you can't go away for a month. It's
there's my queen right there.
Good. There she is.
There she goes. Yep. Nope.
Is our guest still awake?
Is it? I don't know.
I think he might have had a coronary, but that's okay. Never mind. Let's get through our shit. Let's pay the bills real quick.
All right, let's go.
It's actually a short one tonight. Guys, gettingsaltyapparel.com, where you will find hats like this, t-shirts and apparel, and like the one there Kubi's is wearing there, and accessories like your I don't know, cigar cutters and shot glasses and pint glasses and all the good stuff that you would want to give to your firefighter friends and family. That's right, guys. GettinSaltyApparel.com, or if you're in here tonight, guys, hit us up in the super chat if you absolutely positively have a question that you'd like to ask, or if you just want to throw us a few shekels, please do. Yes.
Maybe you help me out. Maybe give me a couple of shekels so I can park in the garage, so I don't got to stand there like an animal, on the side of the road.
An animal. All right, and then guys, if you're watching this post show, you can always hit us up in the super thanks. Every little bit counts. You guys are our number one sponsors. So thank you very much for any and every little bit. It all helps. Thank you.
Certainly does. All right. Look, we got we always got Brooklyn guys on here. Now we got to get one of the Bronx guys in here. I would have figured you for a Bronx guy when you moved up to Warwick, bro. He was heading there, wasn't he? When you go to 33 truck, where you going?
I would have went to 32. I like 32. That's
but you I don't want to tell him you're going for 33, though, weren't you? Where are you going for?
When out of 117 in 1995, I was trying to go to 33.
33. Never heard of him. 32 is the place where it's at. Yeah. Let's get him in here. We met this mountain of a guy down up in Syracuse, Rufy and I. A big 20-something years as a lieutenant in 32 truck. Let's bring him in here. Lieutenant Terry Ward.
Yeehaw!
What's up, man?
Is he frozen already? Oh, there he goes.
No. He's doing good.
He had a sweatshirt on. I didn't see all those tats last time he came to the booth, right?
It was cold.
It was.
Logical man.
Yes. Before we get to that, Pete, we got to go and get patriotic, bro. We got to
salute. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, as always, the most patriotic show in the game, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nice.
Excellent. He's back. He's not frozen.
He was froze.
He wasn't froze.
He's there.
He's alive.
Yeah. Quickly, let's play the drinking game.
Oh, yeah.
This is a special one. This one hits me right here.
Right in the feels. You know what, guys? The greatest ever word of the day. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. Ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day for tonight is bacon.
Whoa!
Oink, oink.
Every time I smell bacon.
Every time you smell bacon.
Now, before we get into your career, let's talk about the love of bacon. Like, how much do you love bacon?
Bacon makes everything better.
Didn't I say that in the pre-show? You could wrap a turd in bacon, and it would be good.
And I'm just going to give this the one tap here because we just said bacon.
We said it 5 times. All right. Well, I'm going to say that so we don't get lit. I'm going to say the swine.
I may have to refill this.
What do you got there? You got a little Martini? Olive Martini?
I got a Dirty Kettle One Martini
Ooh,
with blue cheese stuffed olives.
Holy.
minchia.
Professional.
A special occasion.
An aristocrat.
Oh,
Did you make that
aristocratic.
yourself, or your significant other helped you out with that? Didn't pay his cable bill is what he didn't do.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Oh.
He's coming back. I feel it.
All right, talks amongst yourself. All right, fellas.
For 1 hour, we were in the pre-show. We didn't have
Everything
any
was
problem.
perfect. I bet you it's. Oh man, I'm gonna take
Maybe
him
he
out.
spilled the dirty martini
If
on
he
it. I
can
don't
hear
know.
us. Oh wait, he's
he's
back.
back.
He's back. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back.
You guys all left too.
You did.
Oh, you did.
Well, God
Oh,
bless
so
him.
what you saying? You made that on your own now?
I did.
Oh, good for you. You can make me one anytime, Lou.
We
With
better
bacon.
move. We better move.
Did you ever
quickly
try
for
a
the show.
bacon martini?
I was at an airport, and I think it was Denver, where they had a bourbon bacon Bloody Mary.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh, I've seen that. They put the slice of bacon on the stick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
How
Yeah.
bad
Oh
could
yeah.
that be?
That was awesome. That was one of my better breakfasts.
Now it's only swine, right? You don't like turkey bacon, right?
They have turkey bacon.
Some
Yeah.
people do.
That stuff's
Some
worse
people
for you
do.
anyway. You
Is
know,
it?
Probably is.
got a higher sodium content. No good.
Yeah. How many times are we going to say bacon before Pete hits the button once?
I'm not. I'm trying to. I'm
I
trying
don't know.
to pace.
Oh,
I'm trying to
okay.
pace. I know. I know how
right.
many times you have to
Listen,
say
he knows what he's
bacon.
got.
But you know, you hit the button too much, and then you get those emails like, "Yeah, I really love the show, but too many buttons."
Now, did you always have this love for the swine, like way back, or did you cultivate this love of the swine?
I think it's genetic. I think I've always probably had the love of bacon in my soul. So
It is. Do you remember the guy at 258 Roofie? He used to drink the bacon fat.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if bacon was like eating an avocado, like it had the same health benefits?
Oh,
as an
My
avocado?
goodness gracious!
there would be not a one. And
There wouldn't be a
actually,
pig left on the earth.
Let me tell you this. I've been getting into watching these videos of hunters, Lou, shooting feral hog in like the Oklahoma and
Yeah,
Texas,
of course.
but
Yeah,
on
yeah.
thermal. I'm going to send you some clips.
Yeah, no, I watch it.
Oh, it's
You
incredible.
can shoot them anywhere. They shoot them out of helicopters. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's great.
But
Why
on
are they
thermal?
nasty? Are they tough, like rough, nasty
No, they just
animals?
destroy all the crops in the entire in the entire country, and they
Didn't we meet
replicate.
a guy. Didn't we meet a guy who goes out and just shoots the? Oh, that's deer, right? That's what's the name's boyfriend from Chicago, right? That we met. He's got to keep the population down, so he goes out and just shoots them.
Oh, Morgan's boyfriend.
Yeah,
He works at the airport. No, he shoots everything at the airport.
Oh, right.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
how about we have this guest on tonight.
Oh, we do. I'm sorry. He is here. He's got a career to talk about.
He got crazed with bacon, the man. Over there.
Hey! All right, that's it. No more.
All right, no more.
I'm not
All right,
hitting that
Coops,
button
hit him.
till later in the show.
that's killing me.
All right, let's get right into it. Give us a little. Let's go way back into time, way back. Where you originally from, and what brought you down the path of eating bacon? I mean, getting to the fire department.
I grew up on Long Island, on North Shore, Oyster Bay. I don't know what exactly prompted me to join the Volleys, but when I was 17, I joined the Atlantic Steamer Fire Company #1 in Oyster Bay. And I kind of jumped in with both feet. Like I figured out I liked it. I wasn't in there about a week, maybe 10 days. And we had a job on a farm out in one of the more expensive areas. I was there pretty much all night, and my mother still made me go to school the next morning because I was a senior in high school. And I don't know, from there it just kind of took off. I think it was Captain Dugan who made mention of, at some point you figure out, wow, I can get paid for doing this. And so, yeah, the short story is I took a test with some encouragement and pride. There were a couple of guys in the firehouse that were already on the job. They were helpful, encouraging, talked me into it, but told me I was going down a good path, that I'd love it. And yeah, here I am
No,
So no family.
Oh,
Yeah.
No. I'm not too sure how my parents felt about me joining the volunteers in the beginning. I know my father wasn't real thrilled, and I don't think he was real thrilled initially when I chose the blue collar route of employment.
I was going to ask you.
He was a white collar guy, yeah, and but he's since come around. He's since come around, and I think they're pretty happy with the way it turned out. So
done good, done all right. Any brothers or sisters? Any brothers on the job or?
No, I've got no family on the job. I'm the only one, except for the family I've made since I've been there, of course. But my brother is a restaurant owner out in Park City, Utah. The only sibling I have, and
really.
So if you guys are skiers, look him up.
Does he have 3 wives?
No, he's not. He's not that much of a Utah.
Oh, all right. I had 3 wives at some period in my life, not all at the same time, but I've had 3.
Not that that's frowned upon.
You know
them all at one time.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. One's enough.
One's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
All right. So how old were you when you took the test? Because you got appointed in 85. So
yeah. So
which test did you take?
Well, I actually took 2 tests. This is what I kicked myself in the ass for. I took the 77 test when I was like a year out of high school, but I didn't take it as seriously as I should, and they never got to be on a list. Let's just leave it at that.
That was a hard test.
It was a hard test, and the run, I was not training for the run. I was working in construction, so the other physical part of it, we actually set up stuff in the firehouse and practiced, the ledge walk and all that stuff. I got through all of that with no problem. It was the run that killed me in the end. It just dragged me down. But anyway, the next test, I guess, was 82, whatever that was. I took it a lot more seriously. And I ended up being, I think it was 1,041 on that list. But that was also when the women had everything tied up in court. So they were putting on classes at 25, 45. They were putting on small classes trying to tread water a little bit.
What were you doing? What were you doing in the meantime?
Still in construction in the warm weather, driving an oil truck in the winters. And, we went down to Judge Sifton's court down at Federal Plaza or whatever in Brooklyn. They had a protest for us.
Judge
we were
Sifton.
down there.
Yeah.
And we, protesting the delay in hiring and all that. So for whatever the test was, and being 1,000 on a list of however many thousands ended up being on that list, it took 3 years or so to get actually called and hired. And Proby school was a whopping 8 weeks at that point, I think.
A whole 8 weeks.
But we were the first class. We were a class of 150, and we were the first class of that size off of that list they were able to put in. So
now I have a very similar story to that. Ruffy knows as well, right? We both took the test originally together, but he took it serious, and I didn't, of course. And Ruffy got hired, and then I didn't. I just missed it, just like you. And then my father had passed away, so I was hell-bent on getting on the job because he was a fireman. And that man right there, Ruff, do you remember when you drove me down for the physical? Drove me, stayed with me, came out, jumped on his hood because I got 100. And I was
if you got 100 on a physical, you pretty much
I was like number 200 and something.
Yeah, you got on right away. I only had about 2 years on you, right? 2, maybe 3.
Yeah. So, I was in the first class, 200 and something like that. So, but I guess you were all where you're supposed to be, right? I always say that.
Everything happens for a reason.
It worked out all right for you, right? You did all right.
I would say so. Exactly. How did you? So when you were in Proby school, how did you start like figuring out where you wanted to work, talking to the guys at the Volley House or any of that stuff? How did that work out?
Well, yeah, I know you guys, have a certain affinity for Brooklyn guys. I actually thought that I was going to Brooklyn while I was in Proby school. I had a friend, one of the guys in the Volley House, good friend of mine. and I was under the impression anyway that things were being worked on to get me to Brooklyn. Needless to say, I didn't end up there. But other than that, I didn't really know anybody. I didn't have any hooks. I didn't know who to talk to or what to say or what to do. But yeah, the picture you got up there is our squad from Proby School at graduation. With me in the middle there. I actually had hair, and that was when I used to dye my mustache. It's that nice reddish brown.
Nice. Don't go out in the rain because it'll drip all over the place. Yeah.
You'll notice it's appropriately cropped right to the corners of the upper lip.
Oh,
yeah,
right, correct. Let's see.
Everything in compliance.
Oh my goodness, you were not fooling around.
You're one of the few guys who kept it all these years, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm one of the few, but I have kept it all these years. You might recognize that guy back over my right shoulder in the back row there. You've had him on. That's Ray Strong.
That is strong. Look at him.
Come on.
Yeah.
Look at he looks like a baby.
Holy crap.
We had a few notables in the class. John Sudnick was in that class. Anthony DeVita.
Sudnick. Never heard of him.
Yeah. There was a few guys that made their way up the food chain.
Yeah, who's the little guy hiding in the corner there on the right? Who's that little fella? Who's that?
I honestly can't remember who the hell that is. If I saw him today, I probably wouldn't even know if I tripped over him. But it's Jimmy, not because he's short. Jimmy Romika in the.
Who's the guy with the big bouffant hair? Uh-oh.
He's frozen.
He'll be back.
He's coming.
I can't believe that was Ray Strong.
I know, right? Well, I only know the Ray Strong with the shaved head. I've never seen him. Now, the Ray, I don't remember. Did he go to 111 out of Proby School?
Oh, he's back.
Frozen again?
You were.
Yeah, it's getting your good side, though. Don't worry about it. When you freeze up, it's good.
Yeah, whatever.
Now, did Ray Strong go to 111 out of Proby School?
No, he went to, I think, 51 Truck up in the Bronx.
Ah, look at that.
I believe that's where he went.
So you went to 50 Truck, correct? 50
I went
truck?
to 50 Truck out of Proby School. That's what happened. Back to that where am I going story. I actually got a phone call from a friend of mine, asked me about halfway through Proby School, probably asked me if I wanted to go to the Bronx. And now I had a dilemma because I thought I had guys, I thought I was going to Brooklyn, and you don't want two ends pulling against the middle, right? So I declined that. So no, I think I got it covered. We'll see what happens. And
Swing and a miss.
So yeah, I ended up in 50 Truck out of Proby School. Great place. A lot of guys, when I got there, were up there finishing their careers. So there were a lot of senior guys from the old 5th Division, 6th Division, busy companies. And, they were just kind of riding out. They wanted to do a few more years or whatever. It was, it's in the Throgs Neck section.
Throgs Neck, right? Yep.
Yep. And, nice area. Not a lot of work, though. Not a lot of work. So, quite honestly, I realized pretty quickly that it's not where I wanted to stay for my career. I was looking to go to fires. I was looking to do more.
And they're a tower ladder, right? 50, I think.
They are now. When I was there, they were a rear mount. They actually, in the probably early 90s, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but they actually swapped rigs with 29 Truck. 29 Truck was a tower ladder down in the South Bronx, where I ended up, neighborhood where I ended up, when I was in 42 Truck.
Right.
But the job felt we were overloaded, I guess. So we had too many tower ladders down that neck of the woods and not enough in other places. So they actually swapped 50 Truck and 29 Trucks rigs. They made 29 Truck a rear mount, and they made 50 Truck a tower ladder.
And what was the reasoning behind that? Did they?
Well, when you look at that neighborhood in the South Bronx, the companies are pretty close together.
Right.
So you had 29 Truck on 138th Street, a tower ladder. You had 17 Truck on 143rd Street, a tower ladder. You had 31 Truck on Intervale, a tower ladder. You had 44 Truck not too far up on 167th Street in Mars, another tower ladder. Right. So we could fill in tower ladder spots pretty quickly down there.
Right.
And then you had 55 Truck, 42 Truck, 48 Truck. Were the rear mounts in the
now how busy I know the late 70s, like early 80s, Bronx. They say the Bronx was burning, right? Towards like the 80, when you got on 85, was it still, hats and horns there?
I
Or?
mean, pretty shitty.
It was still shitty.
Right.
The work had died down, tremendously from the late 70s, but we were still doing, if you looked at the stats across the job and everything, we were always in the top 10, 20, for occupied structural work as far as trucks.
Right. So that was when you were in 42, though, right?
Yeah, when I was in 42. Yeah.
So you're in 50, and you're in the Bronx, but you're listening to all the work down south.
Exactly.
Which is probably even worse because you're sitting there listening to the frequency of all the jobs coming in, right?
Yeah. Everybody's going to work but us.
Yeah. Right.
But fast forward to, I guess it was June of '86. We were at a volley function, one of the parades, tournaments in a parade. And I get introduced by a friend of mine, the guy who called me when I was in Proby school, wanted to know if I wanted to go to the Bronx, and introduces me to one of the lieutenants from 42 Truck. So we start talking. He goes, "How do you like 50?" I said, "The guys are good, I said, "But we don't do anything." So he's like, "Would you have any interest in going to 42 Truck?" I said, "Absolutely. What do I got to do?" He goes, "All right." He says, I'll call you. When are you working again or something? I'll call you. So this guy's name's Tom Barry, and he was super. He was awesome boss. But he called me my next set in 50 Truck. He goes, "Put your paper in for 42 Truck." I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, what do you mean put my paper in?
How do I put a paper? What's a paper?
Yeah, right. He goes, "Just go talk to the captain. He'll know what to do." He said, "Put your paper in for 42 Truck. Don't put any other companies on it. You can put up to 6. Don't put any other companies on it. Just put 42 Truck." He said, "I'm going to get you down here on an onion skin, pending transfer." I said, "Okay." So I go. Now I happen to be working with the captain, or the next side I work with the captain, whatever it was. So here I am with a whopping 8 months on the job or so. Still got a fresh, clean, bright orange front piece. And I go knocking on the office door, and I'm like, "Hey, Cap, I got to talk to you about something. I'm not really sure where to start." He goes, "Sure. What's going on?" His name was
a little dicey.
Bob Fulham. He was a gentleman. I said, "Well, I got an opportunity to go down to 42 Truck." As I'm saying this, he opens the desk drawer. He starts pulling papers out. "Really? You want to go to 42 Truck?" And this is before computers. So the paper comes out, the carbon paper comes out, another piece of paper comes out, the carbon paper comes out.
Oh boy.
He's putting it in his typewriter. I'm like, "But I don't know what to do." He goes, I got it. He says, "That's a great move. That's a great place down there." And he's typing. "You'll love it. This, that, and the other thing." So obviously he was like, "Yeah, you need to learn the job. You're not going to learn it here. This is a great move for you." And wow. I had his blessing. So that was great.
Hey Lou, you know what I wanted to say? I wanted to say, and this is something for the younger guys too. What you did, right? You showed up. What was the thing you went to? You went to a parade, or you went to something, right?
The volley parade. I think
it was a volley parade.
Well, I'm just saying, it always seems when you get involved in these things, right? You show up to Memorial Day, you go to all of these things. It finds you, right? There's an opportunity. The captain found you, right? If you didn't go to this thing, if you stayed home, whatever it was. The more things you get involved with the fire department, you meet people. It's always a networking thing, right? You're hanging out, you're drinking, whatever it is, and that's how it worked out. And it really puts you on your path. If you really think about a simple thing like going to a parade, put you on the path to your career.
Yeah.
How are the other guys, Lou, feel about you when you went out? Yeah. Were they okay with it? Were they
the guys in 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had some of the younger guys were like, "What do you want to do that for? The overtime up here is great. You're gonna bust your ass down there." There was some of that, but like I said, there was a lot of senior guys there that were kind of just finishing their careers, and they were like, "Yeah, good move." A couple guys when they closed 85 Engine, which was the Bronxton house, they had gone up there. They were like, "You're gonna love it. That's a great fucking place." I worked there. So mostly it was very supportive and like, "Good for you. Yeah, get out of here. Go learn the job.
Kick rocks, go."
You can always come back to a place like this, at the end of your career.
Right.
And so by and large, it was very positive. They were like, supportive and get out of here, go learn a job.
Did you catch any work in 50? I mean,
we had, I had one job and I was on a rig for 2 1075s that were given. One turned out to be a closet fire. So wasn't a whole heck of a lot. And I had the can, so I put it out. And the other one, let's just say it had a good header of smoke as we came around the corner. But let's just say the 1075 might have been a little premature because when we came into the block, it turned out to be all the bushes in front of the house. It was like the guy was burning his garden out or something. So it wasn't really taught me a good lesson though. I never gave a 1075 until I actually saw what I was dealing with once I got promoted. So, but so that was really the extent of my work. We did relocate down to the South Bronx a couple times when I was working because they were working, and I got to ride around in some smoky neighborhoods thanks to the jobs they were going to. But that was the extent of my work in 50 truck.
When you got down there, Lou, was most of the place burnt out? Hadn't been rebuilt yet, or was it?
There was.
vacant?
I mean, there were some renovated, the earlier renovated rehab buildings, the H types and stuff were there. There was still a ton of vacant lots and a ton of vacant buildings. The drug problem was everywhere. ADVs all over the place. The guys, when I started, I was maybe the second night tour I worked or something. One of the older guys, one of the senior guys, he's talking to me. He goes, "How do you get here?" He says, "You come from Long Island, right?" I says, "Yeah." They told me come down to Brooklyn, get off 138th Street, come around, come up Southern Boulevard. He goes, "Yeah. That's a good way." He goes, "Do you stop for the lights?"
Don't.
I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The red lights." He said, "You hit red lights, right?" He said, "Do you stop for them?" I said, "Well, I have been." He goes, "Yeah, don't fucking do that." He goes, "Stop. Make sure you're not going to run somebody over, and then just keep driving." He says, and the cops probably will just leave you alone because you're a white guy. They're going to figure you're a fireman. But he said, "Don't do that." He said, "Just stop, make sure it's safe, and just keep rolling." He goes, "You don't want to sit. You don't want to sit still."
No. Pull that picture up of the firehouse of 42 truck.
Yeah, hold on one sec. It's funny though how time repeats itself, right? We're getting back to that era slowly.
There you go.
Now that's 42, right? What was that? The original firehouse? What's with the two?
The 73 was there earlier, the 2-story on the left.
Right.
42's house was actually built later on, so they're two separate buildings. They're now one because right after I got promoted, they renovated the entire place and they broke through walls and we had separate kitchens, separate bunk rooms, one house watch. But they were two separate buildings. The only spot you could pass through from one side to the other was either the house watch right in the front of the building, or about 10 feet behind it, there was like a walkthrough. They put a walkthrough through the wall between 73 and 42, but you couldn't cross over on the second floor. And obviously the third floor of 42, we couldn't go anywhere from.
I was just thinking, like, you could easily tell the differences because the more ornate building is the older one on the left. Plus, you have the bigger bay door on the newer one too.
That was like 117, right, Ruff? The only places you could pass was like right past the staircase and the house watch.
The house watch, there was one a little bit further back, maybe like 20 feet behind the stair going up. And then on the second floor at the top landing, you could go across.
Oh, okay. But now it's all one firehouse, you said?
Now it's all, now the kitchen's two separate kitchens.
No, I'm talking about 42.
Oh,
yeah.
That's all one firehouse now.
On the engine side, it's now the kitchen is a big, like a cooking area kitchen with a big, the big table and everything in the back of the building. What was the kitchen and sitting room on 42 is now like the TV room on the first floor.
Right.
But you can get through across the back of the building. You can get through, the front of the building, get through on the second floor. Still separate bunk rooms, but you can get between them.
Now, how long you get down there? How long before you catch your work?
It was either I started on a set of night tours. It was either first or second night. We had a job like 2 doors up the block from the firehouse. and I felt like I knew nothing. Everybody disappears. They're gone. They're going to do what they got to do. I'm with the boss, and he's like, Ward, where are you? And I was literally about 2 feet away from him. I'm right here, Lou. Bring that can over here, And so everything went according to plan, as far as I could tell at that stage of my career. But yeah, it wasn't. I didn't have to wait long. It's just like a 5-story walk up, old tenement, and a couple of rooms going in the rear of it, and we went in, did our searches. The engine came in, put the fire out. We came downstairs, and that was pretty much it. They were like, "Yeah, okay, everything's back to normal. What's next?"
Right.
And,
you must have been like, "Yes, I'm here."
I immediately felt like I made the right move. I was like, "Yeah, this is going to work."
Right. And how was seeing you guys when you got there? Did they have a lot of time on the job?
There were guys there. I mean, there were guys there that were only a few years senior to me, but they had been there out of probie school, so they'd been there 3 or 4 years. So they were well versed, and everybody was great. I mean, and then I had guys there, Mike McLaughlin, Jimmy Ginty, Patty Guiney, guys that had been there. Jimmy Ginty came on a job in 1957. He was in Squad 2 and went to 42 when they disbanded the squads in, I think, the late 70s, 76, 7, whenever that was. So he was there in that firehouse through all of the shit that went on in the South Bronx,
Wow.
Mike McLaughlin, same thing, came on, I think, late 60s. So they were there, and they were just awesome. They were just awesome.
How were they with sharing that knowledge? Did you have to be there a while before they would open up, or were they just
No, when it came to the firematic end of things, anytime we went somewhere, they would throw questions at you, or they would point out things that you weren't doing the way they thought it should be done, or hey, this is going to but they were good. They were like, hey, this is going to make your life easier. When you're pulling sealants, do this, hold the hook this way, work away from you, whatever, all the little things that you do that they've been doing for all these years. When you're making a search, make sure you know where the windows are. Do this. Then, a lot of the buildings then still had just single pane windows, so it was the textbook. Right. A lot of the fires had vented before we got there. It wasn't all tight and closed up like it is today. So, but they were great, and the kitchen. When it comes to, I mean, you knew you were a probie. Let's just put it that way. Right? There was no doubt in your mind where your place was,
as it should be.
Never had a problem with it. Expected it. Right. Never had a problem with it. Did what I was supposed to do. At least I think I did. And I enjoyed every minute of every tour that I was there. And as you go through the job, eventually I got promoted and everything. And you got, now the Chiefs are going to break your balls because you're a new lieutenant. But I had grown up in that kitchen, and they were some of the best ball busters I ever met. So. You talked earlier about developing that thick skin, and so everything just rolled off my back. I knew when a chief was being serious when I got promoted, or I knew when they were being serious, and I knew when they were just breaking my balls.
Right.
The one guy, they all shake your hand, right? Hey, welcome here, welcome here. The one guy, Patty Guy, he was great. One of the seated chauffeurs, another squad guy. He liked his crossword puzzles. So when I came in the first time I worked with him, he's at the corner of one of the tables. He's doing his crossword. And one of the guys introduces me to him. He just looks up. He's got his glasses. He's doing his crossword. He pulls his glasses down, looks up, and he goes, hey, how you doing, kid? I'd shake your hand, but we might go to a fire tonight. You might get killed. And then I'd feel bad because I knew you. He put his glasses back up and went back to the crossword puzzle.
Oh, that's a great opening line, bro.
And I'm like, hey, nice talk, Pat. Yeah.
Good talk.
But
now, did you earn any nicknames at that table that you want to share? Because everybody does. Come on, bro. Everybody earns a nickname at the table.
Not really. They through somewhere mental or psycho ward came out once in a while due to my last name.
Oh.
Most most of them like to call me Warren because that's my given first name, but it was also my father's name. So I typically didn't answer to Warren, and they finally took the hint. And then for a long time, it was pretty much just T Ward. Hey, T Ward. Hey, T Ward. Hey, T Ward. No.
Nice. Let me ask you this: what, pray tell, went on over here?
That, well, it was a Super Bowl. Let me start at the beginning. It was a Super Bowl Sunday. I was coming into work. I got in early because obviously you don't want to miss any of the game. And there's a towel ladder in front of quarters, and the bucket's up, and I pull in, I'm parking my car, and I don't really think much of it. I think, I didn't look, so I think it's 31 truck or 17 trucks. Somebody came to help us with some kind of project, We're hanging something on the firehouse, and the boss calls me over. He goes, "Hey, Terry, come here." So they bring the bucket down, and he goes, "Get in the bucket, take it for a ride." I said, what do you mean take what is this? He goes, "This is our spare for tonight." I said, "We got a towel ladder?" And he's like, "Well, it's either that or they're closing the firehouse. They're closing the company and sending you guys to the wind." I said, "Oh, no, we don't want that. Nobody wanted that." So I get in the bucket and I take it for a ride. And he's like, "All right, go to the window. All right, go to that window over there. Go over the roof. Do this. All right, come on down." So I come down. He goes, "All right, you got the OV tonight." I was like,
right into the fire.
What was that, the test run? He goes, "Yeah, these guys don't know shit about hydraulics." He's like, I was running in my construction side of things. I was running equipment and stuff. So the hydraulics, the levers, and all that kind of stuff was kind of second nature to me. So I guess I did the best job with the bucket. So I had the OV that night, and they never took the rig. They were coming in the morning to fix it. So the rig is in the parking lot next to the firehouse, and the mechanic shows up at, 6 o'clock in the morning. And somewhere just before the change of tours, they take it out for a test run. The chauffeur and him, they go for a test run on our assigned rig to make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. And a box comes in. And there's a picture. We'll get to it, I guess. There's a picture of the group of us at the end of that job. But we get this run, yeah. So we had a covering officer. That's Gary Connolly, was a covering lieutenant at the time, in the middle of the picture there in the back. Our rig and our chauffeur are not there. We get a run for fire. We're all there. All of our tools are on the tower ladder. We're calling the chauffeur on a handy talkie. He's coming back. He's flying down Prospect Avenue now. The boss is going, which fucking rig are we taking? I was like, "Well, all of our tools are on this one." He goes, "All right." So we get on the tower ladder. We respond. It's a job. As we're pulling up, the battalion chief's there. And I think he thought we were 31 truck initially. But he goes, "Oh, great, good." And he looks, he goes, "You guys aren't a tower ladder." I said, "We are this morning." So he's like, "Can you make this thing work?" I said, "We're about to find out, Chief." Chauffeur sets it up. I get in the bucket. Up we go. It's like a 3-story frame. And it was going pretty good on the top floor in Cockloft. And we actually operated as a tower ladder. Yeah, there I am. Handsome
Look
devil.
at you. Is that long hair you're sporting back there?
That is long hair
mullet?
that I'm sporting back then.
Is that a mullet?
That's some kind of
mustache.
mustache.
The 90s, man.
Damn,
80s, 90s.
bro.
It was mullet time, baby.
That was a lifetime ago. That was a career ago.
Yeah, no kidding. Amen, brother.
But yeah, so we operated, and to the best of at that point, it was the only time 42 truck was ever a tower ladder. To the best of my knowledge, that remains the truth.
You know what I wanted to ask you when you were talking about it before, when you first got to 42, and I've been meaning to ask this to a couple of guys who are in busy places in the late 70s and early 80s. The guys today rely on a lot of drilling because they weren't doing the work back then. Did they conduct a lot of drills back then, or you just you work, you learn the job from the volume of the fires that you were going to?
Well, I would say that was the majority of it. We did drill.
Yeah.
But we were going to work on a regular basis, so it was kind of on-the-job training.
Right.
Something new would come down. The bosses would make sure, hey, this is what they want us to do with this, that, and the other thing.
Uh-oh.
We'll get him.
They drilled on the internet every now and again.
I think the dogs that are chewing on the chew toys in the background are also onto the.
That's his dog.
First, I thought it was a baby crying. I'm like, that sounds like a dog's toy.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a dog's toy that now they started on the internet cables.
Is that the 3 beeps? I heard a couple of beeps.
Do that?
Yeah, well, that's people coming in and out of that. Oh, here he is. Oh. He's back.
I'm back. I don't know. When mine goes out, all you guys go out. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what happens. The feed gets interrupted, and then you can't see us either. It's all good.
Yeah. You're not frying bacon back there, are you?
Hey!
Oh!
I thought you'd never ask. So yeah,
so you still drill, but the majority of the knowledge came from going from job to job and critiquing the jobs that you were at, basically.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say that's a fair statement. I mean, we did do, in the firehouse, like I knew where everything was on that rig, and I knew how it worked, and the guys made sure of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It may not have been a formal backstep drill, but one of the guys would be like, "Hey, we just got this back from the shop, so we got this. Come on, let's go over it." That kind of thing, or I'd ask, but I took it on myself to know where everything was, and again, like all of us, you don't want to let the guys down you're working with. You want to be able to do your job and be competent and get it,
right.
Get it right.
Did you notice that transition? Because I mean, you went from a busy firehouse as a firefighter, and then you went as lieutenant. Did you notice the transition of when it went from, listen, I got to teach these guys more through drills because the fire duty just isn't there like it was?
Absolutely. I mean, I was noted, we noticed the drop in fire duty even before I got promoted, of course. But yes, I mean, going up to the 7th Division, it wasn't a stretch. There's plenty of good working companies in the 7th Division too. But the job was getting younger and younger and younger, and the fire duty was down. So you got to make that up somewhere, as best you can. You gotta try and fill in some of those gaps. So yeah, we, I did, and I always relied on the senior guys in whatever company I was working on. I would, if it's a multi-unit drill day or whatever the case was, I would grab them and say, "All right, listen, I'm here for the day, or I'm here for a vacation.
Right.
What do you guys normally do? What do you want to do today? You got anything you want to go over? You got new guys?" I tell them, I said, "Listen, we got a couple of young guys working. What have you done with them? What haven't you done with them?"
Right.
I didn't, as a covering guy, I didn't want to overstep my bounds. I'm only here for a short time. So I tried to, I relied a lot on the senior guys. And then as you move around, you get to know the senior guys, you get to know the guys, and you know who takes care of business and who needs a little prodding. But in 42 it was the same thing. I mean, I was there almost 13 years before I got promoted, and we had plenty of younger guys coming in. A lot of guys, a couple guys came across from the engine, so they knew the drill. They had done their work in the engine, but the truck's a whole new animal. Right. But again, it was in 42. It was mostly, let's focus. This is what we do here. Like, this is how our rig works. This is where our tools are. These are the kind of buildings you're going to deal with. Everybody that came to the truck, they got handed ladders 3 immediately. I know you read this in Proby school, or I know you read this, whatever. Read it again. And then they made sure you were squared away with ladders 3 to start the ball rolling, and then they went into the fireproofs and the taxpayers, and didn't have a lot of private dwellings to speak of. But we had pretty much everything else down there: brownstones, row frames, projects, all that good shit.
Good stuff. It's it would be interesting, bro. I never thought of this, but let's say you take guys who got on the job late 60s, 70s, even early 80s, right? And they go into the fire duty. I'd like to see some kind of study or comparative thing is how long it takes a firefighter to become a good fireman as opposed to relying mostly on making a firefighter through training, right? I mean, if you compare the amount of work that the guys were going through back then to what they go through now, it must take that much longer to make a seasoned firefighter today than it did back then. Thinking about how many jobs you go to, you know, you could be going to 2-3 jobs a night, right? That's not unheard of back then, right? You're lucky now if you go to 2-3 jobs every 2 weeks, a month, right?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they've never done any kind of study to see how long it takes to get a firefighter up to speed. Going through experience as opposed to trying to drill it into them. You know, I don't think that.
I think it's just going to be. I mean, you still, even when you're going to fires, those guys still had to go over stuff. I mean, we've talked to a lot of guys on this job through the podcast that even like the boss is saying, even when you're going to a lot of fires, you still have to go over stuff, right? You still have to, no matter what, even if you have time on the job, right?
Right.
It's always good to go over stuff because you're not always using the same tools all the time. You know, obviously fires is one thing, but different positions and all that stuff. So those guys were always going over buildings and, you know, a lot of the guys that we've had that have gone through all of the war years still say that they still went and drilled, you know, a lot.
But think about this. Think about, you know, drilling on cutting a roof. All right. If let's say you do find a vacancy, you're able to cut, right? As compared to maybe in a month back then, you were cutting 3 or 4 roofs. You know, you're actually doing it at a fire. It can't be a comparison, right?
No.
It's like that. Funny you bring up cutting roofs, right? I cut a roof. We had a job in Hunts Point that we were first due to, and this falls into the drilling thing, like how drills were conducted. So I'm on the roof, I'm cutting. As soon as I put the saw on the roof, I'm getting fire around the blade. I'm like, all right, I'm in the right spot. Good. And I'm cutting. I make my hole. And I'm just getting ready to pull a hole, and the chauffeur comes up. Same guy that didn't want to shake my hand, by the way.
You might be dead.
Might be dead. Taps me on the shoulder. He goes, all right, nice job. You're done. I said, Patty, I got to pull this hole. He goes, no, you're done. Come with me. And I'm confused, right? I'm like, what do you, like, I got to pull this hole. He goes, no, you're done. Grab your saw, come with me. He walks me, 20, 30 feet to the parapet wall between, it was an adjoining building. It was a one-story.
The whole fucking roof caves.
He says, come on over here. We're not on that parapet. He takes out a cigarette, lights a cigarette, and the whole fucking hole I just cut drops into the building. And the roof sags around it, you know, the whole thing. I just looked at him. I'm like, he goes, I don't know. He goes, I walked up to you. He goes, you were exactly where you needed to be. You were doing what you were supposed to. He said, something didn't feel right. Right? Yeah. Just his gut, his experience. He said, something didn't feel right.
You can't get that from a drill, bro.
No, you're not getting that from a drill.
But he made it a drill because he says, so I don't know what it was, but make sure you fucking remember it. So the next time you feel it, you know what you're feeling. I'm like,
man, a few words.
I don't even know what you felt like.
Yeah.
Nah, but you know what? But I've been hearing this from you guys a lot lately, and it's got to be like these little tells, right? That subconsciously start adding up over all the years, right? Like, oh, look at that thing's starting to sag, or
where the smoke is moving, or the fire is moving,
right.
Something is happening that is picking up.
And your brain starts to gather that, and then that tells your gut. Your gut kind of goes, yep, you're right, brain. And I bet you that's what it is, man. You know, it's all these little things that add up to something ain't right. You know, it's fascinating.
That's all it was. He just knew whatever.
I mean, think about it now. A guy in today's job gets the roof. How many nights does he go through before he cuts a roof? How many, as compared to back in the 70s or the 80s? You know, where
there's no comparison.
It's not even on the same chart, man.
No.
You know, you could go months and months, and you could go year. I bet you this guy's on the job who never cut a roof.
Oh, of course there is.
No, without a doubt.
That's insane.
Jeez.
Without a doubt.
All right. So you put that 13 years. Let me see where you are. You get promoted in You get promoted in 99.
I did.
And you get assigned to Battalion 19, Division 7. That's up in the Bronx too, ain't it? The Battalion 19.
It is. That's the North Bronx and Northern Manhattan, the 7th Division. In Wood.
And you're bouncing any good places there? Or
yeah, I mean, the 19th Battalion was in with 75 and 33. I know you never heard of 33, but good house.
I think Roofy might have heard of 33.
Yep.
Good house, good chief. Actually, the captain at 33 at the time I was a fireman with him 42. Well, obviously I worked
Finnemore?
75 and 33.
Was it Cap Finnemore in 33?
No, Finnemore was gone then. Was he gone or was he after? It was Tommy Kelly was his name. Mikey Finnemore was, I forget if he was out by then.
That's the guy Louis went up and kissed the ring. Captain Finnemore.
So I had to be before then.
Yeah, it was probably 97, 96, 97, something like that.
Yeah. And then he
Fun No More or something they used to call him.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good company. I think I worked in every company in the division at some point. Plenty of good companies up there, you know. And you know, my theory was I didn't mind the bouncing. The worst part about my initial assignment to Division 7, our whole class. You remember we were having all the paint related stairway fires in the projects?
Yes.
And they created that task force thing to identify and get the whole, the stairway sandblasted and all of that shit. Well, we were all put into this BI task force, which I thought initially we were going to be the ones doing these inspections, but no, they made it even more inconvenient. Whenever the BI officer in a given company was working, we got sent to that firehouse to work in the firehouse so he could go do his inspections.
Oh my God.
You can imagine how that went over.
I would be vomiting.
And we were told, don't worry, the division will take everybody knows what's going on, everybody's on board.
Oh my God.
You walk into the firehouse at 8:00 in the morning, and the boss and the engine of the truck, wherever you are, like, what are you doing here? I'm working today. Shit.
You're going to look at paint chips. I'm working.
You better call the fucking division. Yeah, you better call the division, bro. I got some bad news.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they caught a job and you were sitting around in a fucking project doing some stupid ass shit like that? I'll kill somebody.
You never took a cup of coffee from him, did you? Because he's like, hey, here you go, T. Ward. Here's your coffee.
Yeah. So we were not the most well received group initially. I mean, they get it. It's not our fault. We didn't come up with this stupid idea, but
that was a stupid idea. Holy shit, was that a stupid idea?
So for the first couple of months or whatever it was, we were on straight tours, no mutuals, Again, not the end of the world, Straight tour chart still gives you plenty of time off, but straight tours, no mutuals, and throwing guys out of their assigned companies to go look at paint.
Oh, sign me up for that.
Yeah. But
I think that would affect Roofy because I think you actually have to do BI for that to happen, right?
Dick.
Everybody has their own BI system.
You should have made that your old school tip of the day. Everybody has their own.
Some of us don't have a system.
Some of them just don't do it. I don't know. Some people just don't do it.
I did it, possibly unorthodox way.
You did it your way.
That's it, T-Ward.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Until you're sitting across one day in the division from the division commander, and he says, You're friends with that guy over there, right? Tell him to start doing fucking BI. That's all.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Love that Ferran. I love him.
Yeah. I wasn't going to name names, but
he pulled one of these.
Hey, Moose, Rocco, help the judge find his checkbook.
Help Rafrano find his BI book.
Help Rafrano find the BI book. And you know what Roofy heard, Pete? He heard that one you played earlier. Sounds like whole bunch of...
yeah. And Roofy gave him one of these.
Sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Yes.
Yeah, B.I. Shmi-I. Yeah, right.
Yes. All right, so you're floating around. You're making friends and influencing people by bumping them out of their spots.
Yeah,
my God.
That was the second time in my career I had the honor of doing something like that. Backtrack to 42 truck. When I went to chauffeur school, Joe Callan was the Division 6 commander, and his plan for all new chauffeurs were to send them on a training tour. So basically what it consisted of is you were
kicked
detailed.
the guy out of his seat now.
You were detailed on a day tour to drive any, in my case, truck, any aerial apparatus that was different than your assigned apparatus. So, and you had 3 months or something to do this. So the day tour of my 24s or whatever, I'm getting sent to anybody in the 6th Division that had a different piece of apparatus than a 100-foot rear mount Seagrave. So you had to go drive a 75-foot tower ladder, a 95-foot tower ladder. I had to go to 30 truck because it was a Mac. I had to go to, I think.
So what happens to the guy that's supposed to drive that day?
Oh, well, he didn't drive.
Oh, man.
He was supposed to get the OV or whatever so he could work with the chauffeur.
Oh.
And then if my presence created an excess or a surplus of manpower, somebody else got detailed.
Oh,
yeah.
Just making friends all over.
Who the hell is making these ideas? Who's thinking this shit?
So, like I said, I mean, most of the guys were good with that. I think only once or twice it actually created a manpower surplus. And I think the detail probably involved early relief. So I don't think it was much of an issue. But the best detail, I go to 44 truck. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but 44 truck had several instances where, I don't know, mysteriously the bucket fell off the back of their rig.
I don't know. Could have happened. Maybe happened. Allegedly, it happened.
Yeah, they had narrow door, narrow street they pull out onto, right? Big tower ladder. So I go there to drive to one day, and the boss there's this guy, Donnie Wasco, who was a 42 truck guy, went to Rescue 3. So I knew him. So he says to me, he says, all right, first time we're going out the door, whatever, they got this big, like 2-foot wide white line painted in the middle of Morris Avenue. He goes, Terry, you see that big white line out there? I said, yeah. He goes, under no circumstances do you turn that fucking steering wheel until your front wheels cross that line. Got it. No problem. So we go, whatever, whether that was to get the meal, whatever it was, we have a few runs. And I didn't hit the bucket. The only thing I've never figured out to this day is they got coming under the concourse. I think it's 167th Street. You come under the concourse, and the tunnel is about 3.5 inches wider and taller than the rig that you got to come under. And no matter where we went, what the run was, we either went out through or back through that tunnel. I don't know how he did it, but I think it was a test.
No sparks?
I think it was a test.
No sparks flaring?
No sparks. No,
good for you.
Again, the chauffeur thing, the driving part in particular, the chauffeur thing, I had been driving trucks since I was 17, 18 years old. So I got it's bigger than a Volkswagen thing. I really didn't have much of an issue with judging the size of the apparatus and getting it through places. But I asked him by the end of the day, I said, do you guys go through that tunnel every run? He goes, oh, hell no. We avoid that at all costs. I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
They had a 95. And we had it when I was in 117. We had a 95, and it's just funny that you reminded me of that because they used to pull up on Astoria Boulevard, and when they backed in, there was a white line painted on the wall right by the Grand Central. As soon as you got there, all you did was turn it as fast as you could, and the bucket would swing right like it was by inches,
magic.
Swing into the
magic
firehouse, but there was always like the covering guy who didn't do it like fully, like all the way. Like you had to get used to doing it. Like like you had to do it full out, like something that you wouldn't think you would do. And
they should have had one that time that you backed into Kerwin's car, maybe, or Spall's car.
Spall's car at 61. I saw a car fucking going like this in the mirror. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, what happened?
Like,
I said, I just hit a car on the sidewalk. Like it was like off to the side of the. It was parked right by
it was the offices.
Yeah, he goes, what kind of car is it? I said, it's a white Buick. It looks like a white Buick. He said, that's my car. I go,
oh shit!
This is Steve Spall we're talking about.
Yeah. Steve Spall.
Too bad. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Shit,
Maron.
Oh man, where are we?
I think we're going back. We're going back to covering lieutenant status. I think.
We are. Was there anything?
Well, I mean,
any other fire? We can go back a little bit. Any other fire stories from 42 before we move on to 32?
Let me think. Let me check my cliff notes here.
Oh, yeah. Cliff Notes got me in through Louis through
I mean,
college.
we talked about a few of them. The other funny, it's another roof story. We had a again. This is probably before the Hunts Point story, but we had a fire in a vacant, like a 5-story isolated vacant, an old tenement, and we pull up and the fire's on the ground floor, and it's all chain link fenced in. You know, it's the only thing in this lot. So I had the roof. So the stick goes up. I'm going up to the roof. I get a look at the roof, and I'm like, all right, you know, nothing going on up here. And Chief calls me on the radio. Goes, hey Terry, can you just take a walk to the back? Let me know if I can get a tower ladder in the rear if I need it. Sure. Get off the aerial, sloping parapet, 6-8 feet, you know, down to the roof level. I scurried down there. I walked to the back, and I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, actually, there's a gate. You know, on the 2 sides, off the side street, you can get a tower ladder if you do. It looks like it's pretty level. All right, thanks. You know, anything you can do up there? Nope. He's all right. Come on off of there. Well, I turn around, and I can't see the front of the building anymore. The smoke, and then you know that yellow, gray, cockloft, shitty smoke.
Yummy.
Gives you that little pucker factor. It's coming up about 6 feet off the roof, like in a rectangle. And then that's where the wind's catching, and it's blowing from like the 4 side to the 2 side. And I'm in the rear of this building. I'm like, well, that didn't look like that when I got up here.
Whoops.
So I take a couple. I said, well, let me get over to the parapet on a 4 side, and I'll just, you know, something told me don't walk across the middle of the roof. So I start to go across the back of the parapet, and my foot goes through the roof.
Oh shit!
And there's fire underneath me. Not really surprised about that, but I go a couple more feet and my foot goes through the roof again. I'm like, oh, this is going to suck. So now I'm kind of half crawling on the parapet going across the back. I get to the corner. I'm half crawling on the parapet, and it seemed like every other step, the roof is like falling away under my foot.
Jeez.
So I'm making my way to the front of the building, can't see. And I hear a voice like, 4-2 roof, 4-2 roof. And I'm like hacking up a lung at this point, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Keep talking. Like, I have no idea. I can't see you. So I get to the front. I find the sloping part of the, you know, that goes up to the corners. And I'm following it across. This guy from 19 Truck, and I can't remember his name, but he's got one hand on the tip of the aerial. He's stretched out as far as he can with his hook, stretched out another 6 feet down this sloping thing. Come to the hook, come to the hook, come to the hook. So I get to the hook. He pulls me up to the ladder. We went down 3 floors before we got out of that smoke. And I'm sitting on the back step, and one of the guys from 42 is coming into work. He saw it, so he's buffing the job. He walks up. He goes, damn, you look like shit. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Don't sugarcoat it, would you?
Yeah. But and then the guys are still working inside, right? So I'm looking inside from the street now when I regain my senses a little bit, and I'm like, it's like pristine inside. There's fire everywhere. There's a couple of lines going, but because it was so open,
crystal clear in there. Yeah.
It was crystal clear. I walked in there with no mask. I'm like, yeah, all right, now I'm pulling shit or whatever. I'm like, oh man, yeah, that guy. That was
Well, what do they say, Lou? All the time, right? You could be the roof man for 1,000 jobs, but you'll earn your money at that one job. You know, you have a really shit roof job that one time for the whole year. Right?
But I didn't do anything except I was like an observation post, and then I had a shit job to get off of the roof.
Yeah, scramble for your life.
It was a scramble for my life. It seemed like. Yeah, it was an eye-opening experience. I like, note to self, file that one away too.
Yeah.
Like Patty told me. Yeah, whatever you saw, remember that so you don't do it again.
Yeah, don't do that.
I have to make mention that Ariel Jackson in the chat is saying, Lieutenant Ward, you better mention your senior man.
Sean O'Donnell.
That's right.
I know who he's talking about.
I didn't want to mention him. I wanted to let the LT.
Oh, sorry.
My number one chauffeur, Sean O'Donnell. He would shoot me if I said anything less. Sean was coming in the 32 truck part. You know, Ariel.
All right, we don't need to mention him yet, Sean. We'll leave him out till we get there.
Ariel, okay. You've always been impatient. You should fucking grow some patience, man.
See? Now it's catching up with the chat. You know, I always tell you, keep it on topic.
I like that name, though, Ariel Jackson. That's pretty cool. That's not his real name, is it?
Yeah. He's probably a good man. Prince George's County, Montgomery County, somewhere down there. I I think he holds some kind of rank now.
All right. So
he might be like a chief even. I don't know.
So how do you wander upon 32 truck? How does that happen?
Well, again, you're covering. So like I said, I got through every firehouse in a division. And certain places just fit better. You
Right.
just feel more comfortable. And that was one of them. I knew the captain in the truck at the time. He had covered through the 6th Division as a lieutenant. So I worked there, SA a couple of times. I got a vacation, either the engine or the truck. And I kind of got on the short list, as they like to call it, right? So, anytime they had a vacation spot, they'd call the division, say, hey, is this guy available, that guy available? So I got on that list. And then I went to 62. One of the lieutenants there, Eddie McCallan at the time, had to have some knee surgery. So I ended up in 62 engine for about 3 or 4 months while he had his surgery and recovered from that. And got some good work with the 62 engine boys. And I said, I like this place, And of course worked in the truck too, mutuals and whatever else, but came back, I'd finished that UFO spot, came back, did some UFO spots, a couple of guys in the truck. When they were on medical leave, again, I got a couple of UFO spots in 32, and they tried to keep me a little bit close. So I got really close with the guys there. I got comfortable there. I was like, I gotta see how this is gonna.
Oh boy, did it good this time.
Oh boy, I did it good.
Okay.
Well, cool. What year did he go there?
I was up there doing it.
2001 assigned. So he spent 21 years there.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Go ahead, Terry.
Is that my Wi-Fi that keeps doing that, or is that something else?
It's yours.
But it's all right. It's doing the same thing regularly, so it only lasts for about 20 seconds, so that's all right.
All right. Well, I apologize. I just turned it off on my phone, cut down the devices that are on. I don't know. We'll see if that helps.
It's okay. Should be all right.
So anyway, again, I was in and out of that place for a while, and then we get into, then comes like 9/11, right? So we all know what a shit show that was, and at that point, for 9/11 itself, I was actually doing a UFO spot in 58 truck. I had been there since the spring, and I was down at the pile with the guys from 58, one of the special groups. I came in from home that day. We got downtown. But by the time I got back into the Bronx, like Thursday, I was going to 61 truck or something. And before I ever worked a tour in 61 truck, I was going, I think, 97 engine. I was going somewhere else. They were shuffling bodies like crazy, right? So the one assigned lieutenant there, or one of the assigned lieutenants there, found out he was getting promoted to captain. They called it the battlefield promotions, right? They promoted all those guys shortly after 9/11 to fill the spots that needed to be filled. And they brought me back. I never actually worked. I went from 58 truck to 32 truck. I didn't actually have to do a tour anywhere else, but I went back to 32 UFO because of that, and I never left. They had the promotions shortly after 9/11, and then they had the transfer order at the end of October. I think it was the 27th of October. They had a huge transfer, officer assignment order where they filled the spots for the guys that got promoted and stuff. So
that was
I had been in and out of there. I had been in and out of there.
21 years.
Yeah, it started 21 years. It's crazy.
Wow. Pete, pull up the picture of a 32 truck, because I got a question for him.
Terry, let me just ask him this quick. Like, I remember when I got promoted in 2002, and I remember guys talking about like the Bronx. Like, I worked in Queens and Brooklyn, and I always heard, yeah, right. I always heard 44. I always heard 33, right? I always heard the same trucks over and over again. Then I started hearing 32. Then I started hearing 37, right? I started hearing these other companies that were further north from where these guys were, that's where most of the work was, right? And then I started listening and talking to guys, and that's what ended up happening. Like that seemed to be where all the work was going, even went further north, like I guess where the single truck was. That was 39 truck, right?
39, right.
Yeah, yep. So that used to be like, for lack of a better term, that was like the last outpost there, right? Like, and that turned out to be one of the busier places.
I think now most of the work is going up that way too, even more so.
Well, when I was getting promoted, one of the bosses in 42 truck, this guy Joe Berry, top shelf guy, taught me a lot. He says, you want to go to the 27 Battalion, which is 7937, 6232, and the 52s in Riverdale. And all I could think of was the 52s in Riverdale, right? I'm like, Riverdale? He goes, no. So you want to go to the 27 Battalion? He said, they're doing a ton of work. And obviously that's where I ended up. But yeah, the 15th Battalion, 39 truck is in the 15th Battalion, and they've got 32 truck runs. I went the wrong way as far as running goes. We were doing 2,400 runs or whatever.
You were going up as you were getting older. Screw that shit.
And, I walked out the door with 36 years, and we were doing 44, 45.
Oh my God. Fuck that.
So, I went the wrong way. I didn't plan that part of it very well, but we were going to work. So again,
yeah, it goes away. Right.
I could do 20 bullshit runs, give me a good fire, and on the same 24, and I don't complain about anything.
And here he is doing the job.
Doing it. That looks like a project.
I don't think that's a project. I want to say that building's like down on Pelham Parkway South somewhere. I forget honestly where that one is. But
Pete, pull up the picture of the firehouse that I sent of 32.
You mean where they cook all the bacon?
No.
Hey! That man's thirsty.
You guys are killing me.
I want to know. I want to know.
Sip whatever you want.
Where the love for the truck is here. Where is the love for the truck here, Lou?
62 engine originally had a second piece. It was like a chemical company or whatever. I need my man Jim Bodkin here to fill me in on exactly, because I don't remember, because I try not to pay too much attention to the engine guys unless they're putting the fire out around us. But they had a second piece at their inception, I guess. And so we just listen. Nobody knew we were there. It was okay.
It was on the DL, on the down low, huh?
And that DL's a whole nother nightmare for anybody who's ever worked under or near or responded through.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother nightmare.
Which side is the truck on?
As I face this picture, on the right side.
On the right side. When did they get there? I mean, because if 62 had a second piece, when did 32 get there?
You're killing me. Now you're gonna make me look.
Killing you.
I don't remember, honestly. And I did the Centennial book for him.
Because that looks like an old firehouse.
It is. The firehouse is over 100 years old.
Right. That's cool, man.
The engine does 5,000 runs?
No, they do about 7.
Holy Christ.
Yeah, somebody had told me that they do about 7,000 runs. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running.
It is a lot of running.
Jeez. Nice.
Yeah.
How about why don't we go over some of the fires?
The jab pictures,
jabs.
Jose says 1927. Jose Brasino, 1927. I don't know what that means.
What's going on in this photo?
Oh, he's on a little big guy on a little chair.
Big guy in a little chair. Yeah, that was Behan's Pub up in Woodlawn.
It used to be before it burned down.
It is again.
Nice. I know it well. We burned that on the
They're not quitters in Woodlawn. They don't quit.
Nice.
Yeah, this was actually you could qualify this one almost as a near miss, I guess. We were second due to them up there, and it's a bit of a run for us to get up to. It's above 233rd. It's up by like 235th and Katona Avenue, and so we get in. A lot of smoke pushing out of the building. The line's already in the building. 39's in the building. So I get in, and I get in the front door, which is pretty much right over my right shoulder there. We get in there, and the smoke condition's down, it's at about 4 or 5 feet. So you can crouch down and see across the bar. So the line is going down to the end of the bar and down into the basement. The original fire was down in the basement. So I'm talking to the boss from 39. I'm trying to figure out exactly where or what is going on. And they're talking about the fires back towards the front of the building. So they went all the way to the rear of the bar, down the basement, and then all the way back to the front of the building, pretty much under where I'm standing. So I hear the line operating underneath me. I'm like, all right. And I'm looking around. I'm like, man, I feel a lot of heat, though. I said, well, I'm standing on top of this fire, it sounds like. So I move. We're searching the bar area, and I'm moving around. But it's friggin' hot, and the smoke's getting lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, something is not right. And I said, oh, hey, dumbass, you brought that $10,000 door chuck and clip to your coat. So I fire up the camera, and I start looking around. And I get back by the door, and the wall on the two sides of this building just absolutely lights up like bright. And I start tracking that, and it's up in the ceiling over my head. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't look good. And so I call the boss downstairs. What do you got fire-wise down there? He goes, oh, we got the main body knocked down, it looks like. I said, yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah, nope.
We got a problem. So now I'm looking, as I'm going through the bar, I'm trying to track where this is going. And pretty much everything over our heads is on fire. So I said, John, you got to get out of the basement. I said, back the line out of the basement. I got fire over my head up here. I said, I need you guys to come out of the basement. So the chief's like, what's going on? I said, I got fire in the ceiling over my head. We're going to need a line in the bar, like sooner rather than later. And I got to get 39 and 63 out of the basement. So they start backing out. As they're coming up the stairs, the fire breaks through the ceiling or blows down a piece of the ceiling, like right at the top of the stairs. So now they got to operate the line to get by that. So it turned to a shit show in a real big hurry. So we're kind of playing traffic cop now. We're making sure everybody's accounted for. We're getting people out. And the ceiling by us comes down. A big chunk of the ceiling comes down. We found out later the whole ceiling in the bar had been done over in like a decorative wood thing. But what they did is, I think, pre-built like 4x8 3/4 sheets of plywood, finished them, moldings and trim and all this stuff to make it look ornate and nice. And they were hung like an acoustical tile ceiling almost. They were hung with wires and tracks and stuff like that. So this piece comes down and it hits me square in the back, like the back of the head, and my air cylinder knocks me ass over tea kettle across the bar. The guy that was standing in that picture behind me laughing had just come out of the building because we got out of the building, obviously, after that, no harm, no foul. Everybody got out. But he asked me, he said, Lou, where's your helmet? Damned if I could tell you. So he went back in to get my helmet, came out and plopped it on my head, and brought me that little chair. He says, you look like you need to sit down. What the shortest bar stool he could find. Had me sit in front. And again, the one photographer that shows up with a lot of our stuff, this guy, Mike Dick, he used to come take pictures when I was in 42. He takes pictures kind of all over the place. But he lived right on Decatur Avenue in the Bronx, right by us. And so he showed up with a lot of our stuff. And as soon as he saw me, he goes, I knew I'd find you when you got promoted. But, yeah, so that was –
Did you look
take that picture.
Did you look more beat up when you came out of that bar or when you came off the roof that time?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I felt more beat up when I came off the roof.
Yeah.
But
so Lou, who are some of the guys that stick out to you, like in 32 when you first get there, and your senior guys and the bosses that you're working with there when you get settled in?
Well, 32 was in, well, like the whole job was in flux, right? Because we're talking, you're talking about when I got assigned there, right? Like that
yes.
time.
Oh boy. And we're stuck again.
We should all do it when he comes back to her.
He can probably see us now or so. Let's see. He'll be back in a minute.
Where'd you get that barber shirt?
We had lost a
at
kid
Sal and
from
Gabby's
32.
barbershop.
Oh, he's back.
Hey, he's back.
So, we had lost a kid assigned to 32, was in 40 engine on his rotation, Mike Lynch at the Trade Center. So, like the entire job was in turmoil and flux, and nobody knew, everybody was making it up as they went along, right? So one of the senior guys in 32 at the time, when I came back to UFO, and we knew, the spot was there, and with everything that was going on, there was really not a lot of doubt that we were going to get assigned there. But he grabbed me, pulled me aside. He goes, Terry, he goes, the guys are frazzled. Like, we got to get a handle on them. I need your help. I'm like, yeah, Tommy, whatever you need. But Tommy Walkenstein, he was the union guy there. He spent months. He was friends or made friends with Mike Lynch's dad. They were all, Mike Lynch was a Throgs Neck guy. Tommy's a Throgs Neck or Edgewater guy. And he made it his mission to find Mike and bring him home to his family. And he did it. He did it. But, I had some senior guys. Him, stands out the most probably as far as taking charge of what was going on. Don Ubell was a captain at the time. He was like, yeah, like, we got to straighten this out. Two of the lieutenant spots were open. Teddy Crowell, I know I've heard his name mentioned on this show. I think it was Chief Bro that probably brought him up maybe. And anyway, he was a 111 truck guy. He had been there UFO pretty much. I'm not sure how long he was there. He was there UFO for a while. So he and I were like in line for these two spots. And we actually got assigned on the same order. But it was, like everybody else, it was a rebuilding process. So, the senior guys, the chauffeurs, Tommy Walker, was seated chauffeur, Tommy McCarthy, John Cavanaugh. John Cavanaugh was seated chauffeur. He also, he went to 62 actually, but he went there out of Proby School. He was in my class. A couple other guys there at the time, Tommy Corley, George Azim were out of my Proby class. So we had some senior guys, but it was, it was a struggle to get everything right. Between that and the job, who's getting detailed for 30 days down to the pile to work on recovery. There was just so much, what chart are we working? Are we working A, B, C, D? Are we going back to the group chart? Who's going to be able to go on vacation? Our vacation's canceled. So there was all of that. So we had to deal with all of that kind of stuff at the very, very beginning of my time there. And, that wasn't an easy transition, and that wasn't easy to do, but we got on track. And I can remember we went to a fire in an auto repair place, probably November-ish, maybe around Thanksgiving of 01. And it was kind of like, holy shit, thank God we're doing something that feels normal. It brought a sense of, it just felt normal. Like, all right, look, we put ladders up, we forced entry, we stretched lines, we put fire out, and it went the way it's supposed to go, Yeah. But the senior guys were great. Like I said, two out of the three lieutenant spots were open, filled with myself and Teddy, the captain, Don Ubell, and then Billy Chilson was the captain in the engine. And he had a good group of officers there. Eddie McCallan and Mike Finelli was a squad 41 original 41 engine guy. Johnny Hassett. We had some really good experienced bosses there, and like I said, the guys I can't say enough about those guys. The guys were there when I got from the time I got there to the changes that I've seen to the guys that are there still or there now and when I left. Top shelf guys. They're into it. They make it very easy to be a boss there. They know what's got to be done. They take care of business, and they.
More importantly, who makes the best plate of bacon over there?
Hey, actually, I got an important question.
Good. I wanted. He was looking a little parched.
You know what?
I've been parched. You're making me talk way more than I thought I was going.
This is probably the most important question right here.
Go.
I'm wondering if you had any good shed fires while you were up there.
And not the shed fires I talk about.
As a matter of fact, we did.
Yeah, this was a good shed fire we had going, right?
There's that chunky smoke you were talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. Hey, back up, find a picture with the from the helicopter with the head, just the header coming. There you go.
Oh,
I don't think we did good there.
Well, tell us how it all started.
This is actually a pretty good story. So, we get a run. The ticket comes in. It's early in the morning.
Wow.
And it comes in as a shed fire. It was White Plains and like 225. The address was on 225 Street. So we turn out, we make the left, we're heading up White Plains Road, and I can see not this much of it, but I can see the headers. We're going around the L and all that other stuff. So my chauffeur that day was John O'Halloran. He actually retired about a month after me as the senior. He was the current senior man in 32 truck. Excellent chauffeur. We're on our way up there. And I'm looking, I'm like, you see what I see? He goes, yeah. I said, that's a big fucking shed.
Right.
So when we get there, go to the picture that's got that fully involved shed. It's right there with them.
This one?
That one.
Oh, man.
So that's the shed. As we're coming up, the building behind that bonfire is the address for the originally reporting the fire, that multiple dwelling. So as we're coming up, 225 Street runs east, so we have to go, our normal response would be go to 226, go around the block and come up behind 63 and 39, right? So I tell John, I says, when you turn on 226, slow down. I think the fire's off 226. So this is the first driveway after we come off White Plains Road. I said, yeah, we're here. Okay, great. So 62 takes the hydrant on the corner, and they start stretching the 2.5. I get back into this backyard, and this shed is like a 30 by 40, 2.5 story wood frame garage. It is so hot. The siding on the back of the Queen Anne you see on the right side of the picture is failing. The windows are falling out of the multiple dwelling behind it. And to the left of that fire is the rear wall for the taxpayers that front on White Plains Road. I can see exposed plywood and stuff. And like the whole back of the building is smoking, just light white smoke, not too concerning yet. So the chief of the 1-5 calls me, I tell him what we got. 62 is putting water on this thing. And he says, all right, Terry, I need you to come to the original address. He says, you got to give 39 a hand. He said, we got windows failing. He said, we got a lot of radiant heat. I said, all right, chief, we're on our way. So we come out, go to 226. I make the right turn on White Plains Road. And yeah, it didn't look quite that bad yet, but the smoke that you see pushing out of the cockloft was pushing out of every freaking storefront.
Oh my God.
Between 226 and 225. So I get on the radio, and believe it or not, I have a tendency to be a bit of a smart ass once in a while.
No.
But I get on the radio, I call the chief, and I says, yeah, chief, we're not going to make it to 225 Street. He said, I've got smoke pushing out of every storefront between 226 and 225. This might be a good time to ask for some more help. So I guess somewhere along there, he transmits a second, which went to a third, fourth, fifth, whatever. But at one point we had
fourth or fifth.
This was the whole block. That building.
You guys have taxpayers left up there? I mean, what the hell?
All from a she shed. Look at that.
Taxpayers and parking lots.
Hell yeah.
But at one point we had pretty much a truck and an engine in every store. And then they pulled a lot of us out. That building where 62 was parked under, when they took that hydrant, there was no fire there. So it didn't look like a problem. We actually got concerned that frame on the end pushing that ugly, ugly smoke might present a problem and fall down on the chauffeur of 62 engine for a while. We weren't. But the other end of that,
that's incredible.
That's a great shot.
You don't see that too often like that in the city.
It looks like somebody dropped a bomb there. It's a mushroom cloud.
Is that the Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a missile strike.
Holy.
Yeah.
But the other end of the block on 225 Street, the building, a similar like 3 or 4 story building on that, but the the second floor of that turned out to be like a mosque. And I had got, as we were making our way down the block, I had gotten in there and it had a high ceiling and the smoke was down to, 8 feet. And there were huge, like 5x8 windows, like double hung windows overlooking the roof line of these taxpayers. And the fire's through the roof of the taxpayers now. So I'm like, so I call on the radio. I said, we're going to need a line in the mosque. All right, well, I'm sending whatever chief from whatever battalion in to take a look. So I come out partway, meet him on the stairs. He says, what's going on? I said, we got fire through the roof and the thing. I got big windows in here. I said, if they fail, I said, we need a line in here. So we get in there. Now the smoke's down about 4 feet. So we're crouched down a little bit. And he goes, I don't see any windows. I said, trust me, Chief. They're about 2 feet over your head, but they're there. The smoke was up higher when I was, trust me. He goes, hey, you think the fire's going to get in here? So it was a younger chief. I don't remember his name. I said, I know the fire's going to get in here at some point. So, yeah. So I took my officer's tool. I just swung it into the wall between the taxpayer and that, and it punched about a fist-sized hole in the wall, and the fire came out like a spiral. It was burning in the wall. I said, what do you think now, Chief? And he goes, I think I'll call for a line.
Yeah, maybe.
But, so that was an interesting morning. That was
what time did this come in? What time of the day?
It was before change of tours. I want to say, God, it was probably, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh,
like
nice
that.
overtime run.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Except I was working that day. So
were these stores open, or all these stores had to be forced open? And
no, they were all still closed. It was early enough. They were still closed.
That's a lot of work there, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just opening up all the stores.
Did you guys have to cut through a lot of roll down gates and all that stuff, or?
I think most of it we were able to, I'm looking at the pictures in front of me now, and obviously we didn't cut the gates there. They were, but I mean, some gates had to be cut. A lot of them, we probably just took the locks and got up to roll up.
Yeah. Huh.
But
check cash in place. Oh boy.
That's some she shed.
Yeah. Seriously, dude.
It was a shed fire.
What was the video that you sent, Pete? What was that video that the Luke sent?
Oh, yeah. So
Luke can relate to this.
Yeah, let's do this one before we go to the old school tip. Let's talk about this. Let me show the video first, yeah? And you can kind of I'll keep the volume low so you can kind of narrate.
Yeah, you don't have to play the whole video. I just didn't want to forget to talk about this. So this White Plains Road and 22
Is that
something.
another taxpayer burn it to the ground?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that their MO up in the Bronx? To burn taxpayers down? I don't know what's going on up there.
Well, we've had our share of taxpayer fires up there for sure. This is a bicycle shop, so all the stuff you read about in probate school about guys getting tangled up and bicycles and shopping carts and all that kind of stuff as they're crawling through apartments. This was like the worst nightmare when it comes to something like that. But this is later on. We had been pulled out of the building at this point, and I came out and. Really, the point of me just reminding myself by sending you this video is I actually got fired this night by the chief of operations. I came out of the building and we were second due to this too, so it's not our fault, which is what I told him. But 39 truck was first due and Kevin Michaels was the captain. He sees me, we come out with bullshit in the street. He goes, oh, by the way, chief of operations is the command post. He wants to see you. I'm like, oh, all right. So, Tommy Richardson was the chief of operations at the time. Now, I've known the chief for 20 years or a little over, and I actually met him outside of actually the FDNY. So, we always got along pretty well, I think. But he's at the command post. I go over to the command post. You know how these things go now. There's more white hats, so there's all kinds of stars and white helmets and clean gear and all kinds of stuff there. I go walking up to the command post. The obligatory salute. Chief, how are you? He goes, Lieutenant Ward, you're fired.
What?
I was like,
what was it, Donald Trump? Is that you're fired?
I was like, with all due respect,
that is wrong. And he did the wrong thing.
I said, with all due respect, Chief, I'm second due. This is not my fault. He goes, look at this debacle. He says, you're obviously incompetent. "You're fired." I said, "With all due respect, Chief," and he stops me. He goes, "I already fired Michaels. You're next."
Oh my God.
Then you got a handful of staff chiefs there looking at this exchange, wondering, like, is he really serious? Because Tommy could do that with a straight face.
I can
is he
see him
serious?
doing
And
that.
then he
too.
comes out behind
bro.
he comes out from behind the command post, shakes my hand, gives me the bro hug. He's like, "Hey Terry, how you doing? What's going on? Whatever." So then we just they were like, "All right, thank God." But I was like, "Does that mean if I'm fired, can I go back to the firehouse now instead of staying on Lakeville's Road for the next 45 hours?"
Yeah, has a towel, a lot of pisses on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I could absolutely see him the way you did that.
Yeah, I can do it. I can see it too. Yep.
Yeah.
That's freaking
absolute
great.
gentleman.
All right. One more shot to share before we go do our thing. Kev, tell us about this.
That is my last 24 in the FDNY.
And look how you went out, the way you came in.
Yeah, pretty much, except for the front piece, right? That is not my issued boots, but the same style, right? A replacement pair that I got somewhere before we got bunker gear, but that was my issued coat and my issued helmet, and I wore that ensemble for my entire last 24.
Wow.
Is that the old school sweatshirt too, with the patches on it? With the
that is probably just like a mock turtleneck shirt.
All right.
Did you do anything that night?
You catch any work last night?
Well, late that day. This is in the morning of I was up and down my last 24. This is in the morning. It's like a class 3 bullshit thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm coming out of the building, and actually one of the guys in the engine took a few pictures of me coming out, and that's what started this internet travel for this picture. Like, he posted on Instagram or something, and it went crazy. But to be fair, I had my bunker pants in the apparatus. I had it in the rig because I figured if we actually went to something that was substantial, I didn't want to.
It wasn't worth losing. It wasn't worth losing your pension over. You mean
what's your word there, Lou? I didn't want to be that dick. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be. I didn't want to put anybody in that spot. So late in the afternoon, we actually went to a job as the fast truck, and I put my bunker pants on. But I left the coat and the helmet, and it turned out to be small hands. It wasn't a big deal. But the deputy rolls up, and as he's walking to the command post, to the battalion, he does a double take and looks at me, and I see him just like chuckle a little bit. And he comes, after things are all over, we're taken up. He comes up, he looks at me, he goes, "Is that your original shit?"
Yeah,
I
nice.
said, "Yeah, it is, Chief." He goes, "I fucking love that."
Nice.
So, like I said, it was. I think it was received as it was intended to be received. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I just was like, this is it.
So, wait, before you go, you got to show the other picture, bro.
Which one?
Come on.
What? Come on.
The pork picture.
Oh,
Oink,
that's right.
oink,
That's
oink.
right. Hold on. I got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna do a preemptive strike here.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Well, we got some bacon in this shot right here. This is why we loved.
So Terry, I must have got no exaggeration today yesterday when I posted that you were going to be on the show. At least 3 or 4 or 5 guys texted me saying, "Hey, dude, that guy really, you got to talk about the bacon." And then when I saw the picture, I'm like,
Look at that. That's loveliness right there, bro. That's a lot of love.
It's
That's
art.
a lot of love, right? So I come into work on my anniversary. It's my anniversary date for 30 years. And the men are acting kind of funny. And they're trying to get me in the kitchen, obviously. And I finally go in the kitchen. This is what's on the table. So everybody's having a good laugh about it. Ha, ha, ha. That's 5 pounds of bacon, by the way.
Oh, I was going to ask you how many pounds that
5
is.
pounds of bacon.
I hope you all ate it.
Prepared and laid out in such a nice fashion. So we all have a good laugh, whatever. So I kind of lean on the table and start eating bacon, right? What else are you going to do? We're bullshitting, regular change of chew is shit. And they're all sitting there and they're looking at me, and I'm like, oh, these guys there's more to this plan. So I'm eating bacon for like 10 minutes. And finally I look at them and I said, you guys want some of this? Or is this all for me? Oh, no, we'll have some. And all of a sudden, bread comes out already toasted. The mayonnaise comes out. The sliced tomatoes. They had this whole thing. Man, there were 17,000 BLTs getting made in that kitchen in a heartbeat. We thought you'd never ask.
The brothers, the creativity of the brothers.
That's right. What a great shot, man. Ooh, I'm hungry. Hungry already.
So how did it end? How did it end, Terry? What was the final?
It ended when the bacon was gone, of course.
No doubt.
No.
What about with the career? What happened? Why'd you pack it in?
Well, I would have aged out at the end of this year. I turned 65 literally on December 31st. My overtime was
nice.
I mean, I never shied away from overtime. With the mandate and everything, it put me where I needed to be. Sticking around I wasn't gonna be able to do any better than what I was doing then. I actually had a window there that I could play with the dates a little bit, which is how I ended up leaving on 3/2 day.
I like that.
And basically, I quit before they fired me.
Yeah.
I had 9 months left. So it was winter. It was cold. I was like,
you were tired.
Another winter.
It was the perfect storm. It all came together.
Then it's going to be summer. Then it's going to be summer, and I got to wear that snowsuit. And it's going to be 100 degrees. Do I really want to do that? So I just
did enough.
I made the fatal mistake. I went down and talked to Al Collins.
You looked at your numbers. Never look at your numbers, bro.
Well, it would. They say they tell you from almost day one, right? You'll know when it's time.
Yeah,
it's time.
And I was there. I was like, it's time. I'm getting tired. And
how you adjusted now?
I need to come up with some kind of better schedule than what I've got to keep myself a little more occupied. But I've stopped myself. I no longer stop in mid stride and say, "Wait, am I working tonight?" I don't do that anymore.
And if you need the kitchen table, you come to the Getting Salty podcast. That's what you do.
There you go. There you go. That works too. Hey, Pete, can you do me a favor and just maybe real quick before you go to this old school tip of the day thing? Can you scroll through some of those group shots of the guys?
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I don't want to take up a lot of time. I just want to.
No. We'll bust out the group shots. Here we go from 32.
All right. That one that I showed you with 30, we're sitting on a bumper at 32. Like I said, maybe that one first. Yeah, that guy. All right. So the whole reason I said something, I mean, I've worked with, like I said, I think the company has turned over probably 3 times, like almost entirely. The senior man, John O'Halloran, who just retired behind me, was actually in 62 engine when I got to 32, and he rode out most of my career with me there. But other than that, like the company turned over. John Cavanaugh, the guy sitting to my left there, was the chauffeur that day in my Proby class. So he was one of the guys that was there when I was there. The guy on the far left is now a battalion chief in Manhattan.
Wow.
The guy next to him is now a captain in Brooklyn. The guy on the other side, Dave, is now, he's retired. But I mean, so I just want to kind of go through these and mention some of the guys because there's been such a change that I've had the privilege of working with so many different guys.
Number 7.
Whatever's next, people just take it from here. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we'll just move right through them.
I have no idea what this is, but it's obviously winter. How big can you make that so I can see?
I can go through them.
All right, so that's all right. So on the left there, that's Jimmy Cahill, now Rescue 1. Mike Willman next to him, retired. Me. Eddie Vreeland, promoted to lieutenant and now retired. Mike Fry, promoted to lieutenant and now retired. And Paul Hackzima, who also went to Rescue 1 and has since been promoted and is back in the 7th Division as a covering lieutenant.
Nice. Who do we got in this one?
All right. That's the brown bully.
I'll zoom a little bit more here.
Yeah, that's the brown bully right next to me. My main man, Carlo. He was my chauffeur until he quit on me and went to Rescue 3. And Tommy Mecca right there is now a chauffeur in my groups. He's technically in the captain's groups, but he is now, with the retirement of John, he is now a senior man in 32 truck. Bobby Ruff, awesome guy, very, very skilled. Machinist, carpenter, like he's one of those guys that can do everything, but he had quite the career too. He retired out of 32 truck, but he had been a 54 truck, 30 truck, Rescue 1, came to 32 truck. And Jose Bricino, who you just mentioned before, I forget what you mentioned him for, but that's Jose right there. And Dennis Keating, who I just got a text about today, is going to be promoted to captain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was wondering who that little guy on the end was, the little teeny tiny guy.
Yeah.
Tiny.
That's why he started in the engine.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Dennis. You fucking unbelievable.
Guy's a beast.
These guys, Dennis Keating, like Carlo, like they walked in the door as probies when I was there. Even the battalion chief, like they came in the door as probies and walked out of there as going to SOC, going to
Yeah.
You know. So
we got one more here.
I think we did that one already, didn't we?
No, that came up, but I blew by it. Yeah, that's Rescue Carlo again. Again, my chauffeur. He let's see, did he follow?
Oh, there's his interwebs. Oh boy.
I'm smart, not like everybody says.
Him earlier, right?
Now we got you.
Oh, there we go.
So Carlo was awesome chauffeur. I hated to lose anybody that left, quite honestly. Billy Tonner is now a pilot in the Marine Division, by the way.
Oh, wow.
The guy next to him. So he's doing well for himself. But, these guys, I think Carlo may have come into the chauffeurs group behind Sean O'Donnell, who I had for a bunch of years. Sean was awesome chauffeur. But there was a running joke with Sean. You know, guys would come covering, doing vacations and stuff, and covering guys that have been around a while and knew me. Their standard thing was, "Hey, when are you going to fucking retire?" And my standard response was always, "Just as soon as you get a spot somewhere else." So a good friend of mine, Jack Cassidy, he did quite a bit of time with us, and the running joke was that he had offered Sean money to get me to retire.
Nice.
So we were going to a box one day, and they were doing some repair work on the L, and they had built these boxes around some of the L pillars, 2x4s, and the orange construction fence and all that shit. Well, we're going down White Plains Road, and there's not a lot of room in the traffic lanes, and they took up 1.5 feet of it on either side. So we're right on the line, and somebody must have hit this or done something. But as we get close, there's a 2x4 pointed straight at me. So I lay over the top of the motor. It hits the corner of the front of the rig, comes between the mirror and the window. The window is open, comes into the cab, and the dome lights, right, Louis, right over your head, the red and white light, spears the light, shatters the light, and then cartwheels on down into White Plains Road.
Fuck.
Conspiracy. Trying to get you.
So I just looked at him. I said, "Did Cassie pay you to do that?" He just starts laughing, right? So somewhere down the road, I ran into Jack. He goes, "Yeah, but I only gave him a 50 because it was a near miss." Yeah, I got again so many guys. The guys, like I said, Tommy Mecca, senior man there now, doing the right thing.
Did he end up getting your spot anyways, or no?
No, he took a spot. He's a captain now too. He took a spot in another company because he finally figured out that I wasn't leaving.
He was exhausted waiting for you. That's what happened.
Yeah, he got tired. He figured he'd retire waiting for me. So
before we get to the old school tip of the day, what do you think you missed the most? Because you're not that retired that long.
No, 5-6 months.
Holy shit,
that's easy. I honestly, nobody misses the bullshit running or the bullshit, the whole last couple of years with the COVID, the administrative bullshit. Nobody misses any of that I've talked to. I miss the guys, right? The guys were awesome. Like I said earlier, the guys, from the guys I started, working with as a probie. You develop that bond with them, like everybody that you've had on the show talks about. You miss the guys, you miss the kitchen table, you miss. Here you go, Coobs. You miss the jocularity around the kitchen table.
Right. You were talking a lot about jocularity in the beginning.
You miss all that stuff. We had quick side note. We had a great rapport, and I almost forgot to mention this guy. We had a lieutenant in the engine, Dave Russell, and there was a point in time where we worked together a lot, and there was a point in time after 9/11 where guys were beat up, guys were down, whatever. So he decided we're going to have the company drill out night was going to be on laundry and morale, and we ordered the men into the kitchen to watch Blazing Saddles and made them sit through the entire.
Great job.
So that was our thing, right? So Dave and I worked together a lot. Again, awesome guy. Sorry, Dave, I almost forgot about you, but there's a lot to remember when you're doing this. And these guys made me drink.
Nice.
We did it. We made them. Yep.
But so you missed the guys, and I haven't talked to anybody that was in this job for the right reasons that doesn't miss going to the fires.
Right. Yep.
Like I said earlier, I can have a 24 run 24 if there's a good all hands or a second alarm or something in there first due. I don't really give a shit about the 7 elevators and 14 gas leaks. I don't care about that. We don't talk about them. You talk about that job was great, right? So
yeah.
And like you said before, you could go on 20 of those, 20 bullshit through your whole 24, and if the last run that you go on is a good job, all of us, it's like you never even turned out before. You know what I mean? You can't even remember anything.
Yep. That's God's honest truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it's the same chemical reactions that they give to women after they have a baby. They go through that much pain. They're like, I'm never doing that again. And all of a sudden, they're like, I think I'm going to have another baby. Right? What I do, 21 guests? Oh, I had a good job at the end, though, bro. So, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Holy
shit.
All right, Pete. Now I think it's the time.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Oh, I think it is about that time. And you know the time. It's time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, LT.
All right. Well, I went back and forth. I mean, there's so many things that pop into your head for something like this, right? So I had to obviously try and narrow it down to something that was short, sweet, to the point. So I think what I really want to focus on is it really falls under training, right? From the day you enter this business, whether it's career or volunteer, quite honestly, it's important to stay focused and competent and solid in the basic skills that you learn, like right out of the gate. And to fine tune that even a little bit more. I mean, everybody, if you're working on truck stuff, the forcible entry, the vent, the search, that's all basic skills. Stretching the hose line, being in the right spot, estimating your stretch, basic skills, right? Everything has to happen properly for the fire to go the way we want it to go. But speaking from more of a truck perspective, always focus on, don't get that tunnel vision. You hear this mentioned all the time. Don't get the tunnel vision. Focus on your size up as you're approaching the building. What is that building telling you? What do you see? What do you not see? When you get into the building, you need to start landmarking certain things, especially you get to the fire apartment door, you force that door and you're going to make a search in front of the line. Room orientation and building orientation, where you are in that building, where you are in that apartment or that fire area can become a life-saving skill. You start your search, you're going to the right, whatever you're doing, you pass a couch, you pass the big screen TV, you pass the kitchen, whatever it is. Our initial move, things start to go bad and we decide we need to back out or whatever. Your initial move is to try and go back the way you came, right? So in your head, you need to know that when you're coming back through and you pass the kitchen and you pass that big screen TV and you hit that couch, you need to have in your head that the door is right past this couch. This is where I came in. Things like that. there's so many avenues that you can.
Oh boy. We're gonna let him ride this out here and then come back.
Specialized training, specialized skills. All right, where did I leave off?
There's so many things.
You were talking about the last thing was like the search part. Like
So as you know, when you're in there and you're doing your search, landmarking, being aware of where you are in the building or the apartment, you know, the building itself, what floor you're on, et cetera, and so on. You know, landmark stuff. You need, if you got to turn around and get out of there in a hurry, you need to know that when you get back past the TV and the couch, that you're almost to that door, right? These are basic skills. There's so many places you can go, so many avenues we can pursue in this business for specialized training and special skills. You know, you go in our job, you go into the special operations guys, or you go into hazmat. You know, there's so many, you know, marshals or whatever the case may be. But if you're making that hallway and you're working in a truck or an engine, you need to stay rock solid in basic skills, because in my experience, most of the time, that's what's going to help you out when you find yourself in a jam. All right. All the training that you got, all the best equipment, it's all great. It's all going to help you. But the best tool that any of us bring to the fireground is, or at least should be, this one, the one between your shoulders. Right. If you can keep your head on straight when things start to go sideways, you can usually figure out a solution and you can implement the plan and you can make that work for you. And it usually has a much better outcome. The minute you start to lose your mind and you start to panic, that's when things go, they don't just go sideways. They go into a spiral, and it doesn't go up, it goes down. So stay solid in the basic stuff. Concentrate on, you know, when you find yourself you think you're turned around, you think you're not quite sure where you are. You get that little pucker factor. You get that little bit of panic feeling. Take a deep breath. Figure it out. You've done this before, right? So take a minute to calm yourself, get a hold of yourself, think your way through it, and come up with a plan and make it work. And I just want to touch on the one other thing I want to touch on for this, and this is not, well, this applies to both junior guys and senior guys, I guess, but the whole senior man aspect, right? Guys that are being kind of, I don't want to say forced, but finding themselves in that senior man spot in a job today are much younger or with much less time on the job in many cases than what I would consider a senior man when I came on the job, right? Through no fault of their own. It's just what the job is. The job is younger. Be that senior man, you know. Time on a job doesn't make the senior man. I don't give a shit if you got 35 years on a job. If you spent the last 20 of them on a couch in the TV room for, 23 of your 24 hours, that to me is not a senior man. All right. And you don't have to, you don't have to be up there. Come on, guys, we're going to drill. Come on, guys, we're going to do this. Come on, guys, we're going to do that. Lead by example. All right. Be that guy. Be into the job. If you're at that 10-year mark, or, it depends a lot on the company. A lot of companies are younger than some others, but if you recognize the fact that you're near the top of the food chain, or you're at the top of the food chain time-wise, be that senior man for these guys. The young guys coming in, they're sponges. They want to learn, right? We like to say we like to solve problems at the lowest level possible, right? So young guys, go to the senior man before you come to the office. Never a bad idea. If they can't help you, come to the office. But when you come to the office and you ask me an official job-related question, you're getting an official job-related answer. Not much I can do about that. If you can solve it on the apparatus floor with the senior man, we're all good. And that's really it. So be into the job, guys. It's been a blast.
I like it.
I like the senior man thing, because you don't have to have 30 years to be.
I like that, man. It's good.
That is, and like you said, a lot of the companies are doing that. Like you said, for no fault of their own, the guy might have 15 years on the job. He might be in the top of the food chain. So
exactly,
you don't have to be somebody in that. Just
Be
the
yourself.
guy. Yeah,
Just
the right
be there.
thing.
That's all. Be
I
there
like
and
that.
be involved.
Yeah, I you know, something that kind of hit home was the one about panicking. I don't know why.
Because Pete sees fire 5 doors down, he panics and runs
He
down
ran
the street.
like
Real quick question from the super chat here, and then we gotta get on our way. Thank you, Loot, number 1, and number 2, Dave has to know about the lids on your wall. What do you got there?
I don't know what you can see in this picture. All right. Well,
Yeah, I got yellow ones, white ones. What do you got?
the yellow one is actually the wife's from her volunteer.
nice.
Really? Yeah.
Let's start at the other end. The last two, furthest away, are both lieutenant lids. The second one is the original one that you saw in that last picture. That was my Proby school helmet that had to be retired, taken out of retirement for my last 24. The one next to it is the one I wore for the remainder, other than when I wore the plastic one for a little while, which I didn't like. The third one that's my 42 truck helmet. When I was in 42, we were the second class, I think, that got issued the helmets with the shell, the liner.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some connections for the unlined helmets, so I managed to come up with about a half a dozen. So I wore one as a fireman in 42 until they cracked down and made us. Wear the one we were supposed to be wearing.
With your chin strap.
The white one in the middle is. We didn't talk about this, but when I went through Proby school, I was actually the chief of department in the Atlantic Steamer Fire Company. I kept that under wraps as best I could. But that was my helmet from there, presented to me upon my completion of my term there. And then the other two are from volunteer departments up here. I've maintained an active volunteer status throughout my career. So I belong to a couple of departments, depending on where I lived up here in Orange County. And that's what those are.
All right.
So they're all at some point in use, not just
Well,
for show.
every one of them has been on my head.
Excellent.
Nice.
Lieutenant Ward, thank you for let us looking into your career. It's fabulous. We like to get those Bronx guys on, right, Roof? Every now and again. Every now and again, Louis lets me put a Bronx guy on here.
I don't know why you guys are scared. Why are you guys scared of the Bronx guys?
After you. No, after you.
No, after you. No, you go first. No, you take my sister. No, go ahead.
That's as funny as when you get to you're in the Bronx tonight. When you get to the third floor, keep fucking going.
I knew that was coming. Once again, thank you, Lieutenant Ward.
Terry, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, LT. Anybody got a shout out? LT, anyone?
I actually had.
What do you got?
Oops. I wanted to just let me see if I have it here. Hold on one second.
The guy from 325?
Yeah, you got it. Do it.
I do. Patrick Mulvey, 325, had a tragic accident and passed away. He's an Island Park guy. No. He's a Point Lookout guy. His funeral's
Point Lookout. 19 years on the job.
19 years on the job. 325, 163 in Queens. Rest in peace, brother. Very tragic.
If you look up, they have a GoFundMe on his. Just look his name up on the GoFundMe page, and it should pop up.
I stopped by the funeral home today. It was mobbed. So it was a good turnout. But very tragic. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
What else you got, Bruffy?
No, that was the only one I had.
All right. Again,
I got one.
Oh, go ahead.
To our youngest fan listening right now.
Oh,
hold on. I'm gonna wait till you stop crunching. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Always making noise. Our youngest fan, Noah Niger in Boca Raton, Florida, who loves the show. Shout out to you, Noah.
Del Boca Vista. How old is he?
He's I think he's
62.
12.
Down there, that's young. 62.
Yeah, 62. He's a sprightly young man.
Yeah.
No. I think he's about 12. So
he's down in Del Boca Vista.
Del Boca Vista, in the heart of the heart.
Oh, he's got to know Hank Molay down in Del Boca Vista.
One of my favorite kids. Really good kid. He's a basketball player. Maybe a future firefighter after the show. I don't know, but I wanted to shout him out.
Do
anyway.
it.
Do it, kid.
All right, now Lieutenant Ward has now earned a spot on the annual cruise, the Gettin Salty cruise.
That's right.
Hopefully he can make it. And the best of luck in your retirement, Lou. Anytime you feel like you need to come to the kitchen table, jump on the channel here, bro, and you hear a whole bunch of silliness going on at the kitchen table.
It gets better. It gets better, Terry. A little better. Not the show. I mean, retirement.
I think it's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right. I call Louis the happiest retired guy I've ever met in my life.
God.
Right
At first,
though, oh my God.
At first, he was waking up early, and then he was talking, and when he told you things on the show, he was telling you like this. Now I can't find the guy. Where is he?
He's a very relaxed golf hunter, fisher. Oh, there he goes. I want that back, by the way. You better send that back. Yeah.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting weapons.
That's coming up. That's coming up really soon. That'll be before you know it, Roof, right?
Yeah, pretty soon, October.
All right, so we're off Monday night, but Pete does have a segment that he put together.
It's a good one.
And
the boat tour, guys. The boat tour. You guys have been wondering what it's like, what it was. This is my favorite video, man. This is my all-time favorite one we've done. Just good vibes, man. It's great vibes. Look at the legends on one boat.
Right.
That alone should get you guys excited.
And look who will be there next year. Terry Wood.
Another legend, Terry Wood.
Yeah, and Ruffy just procured Jay Jonas for the 7th or the 8th.
I got the 8th. I got Chief Jonas, and then I got Chief Galvin.
Who's this Chief Jonas? Are we talking about the guy who's always after Spider-Man? Come on, Spider-Man! That guy?
You can ask him.
He's a menace.
Yeah, why don't you ask him that as you're running down the street away from the fire? Ask him that. So that's it. So we will not be here Monday. Ruffy, you're moving to Boston on Thursday. Does that mean you're not doing the show on Thursday?
I'm not sure yet. I put it on.
Let me know. I'm gonna have to make some quick phone calls. Let us know. Other than that, PD and I'll see you on Thursday. Yeah, with who knows, a surprise maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Could be another surprise fat daddy. Could be Hankamus Moleus.
Could be both of them ripping each other apart, which always goes over well.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would be something.
All right. Well, anyway, Lieutenant Ward, again, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes. Until we meet again, stay low and go.
All right. Real quick, guys. Let's go through our end of show here.
Oh, right.
Audio. You can find us everywhere, every player. I'm going to go fast tonight. Guys, youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience. Like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share. Head on over to Instagram. Find us at Salty Dog Inc. Gettin Salty Apparel, guys. That's how we pay these bills and spin these wheels. Super chat, everyone. Thank you very much. Super thanks, everyone. Thank you very much. Facebook, guys. Gettin Salty fans page. It's awesome. 48,000. Let's keep going. All right. Gettin Salty ads at gmail.com. If you want to advertise with the show, we got some new ones coming. Gettin Salty experience at gmail.com for any questions for the show, general questions for our Q&As, and Coop's podcast at gmail.com for all of our news related content, helmet cam footage, hot old lady contest, the whole 9, shoot it all there. And that is all the news that's fit to print.
Excellent. Don't forget to come and see me and Petey the 17th of September. We'll be down in Wildwood doing it.
Too. I'm putting them to work, bro.
Right, doing it. And then me, Ruffy, and Cliffy Bear on the 27th out in Ohio for the Firehouse Magazine Expo. Come out and see us. We got the show sponsored shirt. It's awesome. Let some money out of your pocket. And drinks are on Ruffy, everybody. So, all right.
Everybody
out. All right, now I'll say it. Stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one.
Cheers, everybody.